Welcome to Best Show, the best show in the world. I'm today's host, Francie. Today, we have invited three special guests for discussion. So let's welcome Amy, the most senior English teacher in Taipei First Girl High School,
Hi, I'm Amy.
and Zoe, the most beautiful tutor in Taipei,
Hello everyone, I'm Zoe.
and Ryan, the most handsome daddy in Taiwan.
Hi, I'm Ryan.
Yeah, as we know that everyone in Taiwan suffers from pandemic issue COVID-19. So far, lots of students are forced to learn online in their place. However, it might be decreases the danger and risk of COVID-19, but it also increases some problems and inconvenience, especially education. So now I'm going to ask some questions mentioned by major netizens. And they mentioned that what's your opinion for the policy in this pandemic era? Amy, would you like to share first? Because you are the most senior teacher here.
Sure. First of all, I would like to say that the sudden policy of online learning is indeed driving everyone crazy.
Yeah, as a parent for two elementary school students, my wife and I often sent our kids to the school and then went to work in the past. However, because of this policy, we now need to take turns to take a day off in order to take care of them. We all know that we have to face the pandemic together, but this policy is so sudden that we have no idea how to take action right away. It's really causes a huge mess in our life.
Yeah, it is. So we can know that not only teachers in school, parents are very mad at this as well. Because of the policy, it becomes so difficult for us to reach students immediately, and we aren't given enough time to prepare for our teaching materials, which leads to a messy class arrangement, especially for us who have around 35 students in each class. For now, the best way we figure out to assign our students homework is to send messages to their parents in a line group and receive each parent's messages individually to check the homework so that there's no chance for students to copy others.
As for this, I know that the teachers suffer from the distance learning too. However, becoming the bridge between our children and school even increases our burden. There is a lot of homework every day, and we have to help our kids to upload it. And the way of distance learning is so various and sophisticated. We need to spend more time dealing with technical problems, which really drive us crazy every day.
Oh yeah, it sounds really too many troubles here. And would you like to go more deeper? Is there any other influence about this pandemic issue?
Yeah, I think online teaching is much more difficult than teaching in person. I'm a tutor, and most of my students are still studying in kindergarten or elementary school. Plus, my main teaching method is doing interactive activities, such as games, stories, and so on. However, due to a lockdown for COVID-19, I can only teach my students online, and it's extremely difficult to do interactive activities. Besides, the biggest challenge through online teaching for younger students is their online teaching skills. Online teaching skills included the students' internet connection as well as the students' concentration. To be honest, my students are too young to use these online learning applications. Hence, their parents must help them to keep the course going successfully. In addition, it's very hard to keep my students' attention during our daily courses, so it's even more difficult to let them concentrate for a long time through online learning.
Yeah, I totally agree with what Zoe just mentioned. Since it is a brand new way of teaching, there are tons of restrictions compared with traditional classroom learning. Zoe has talked about some impacts targeting children in elementary and kindergarten. So I would like to share some challenges and decisions that teachers in junior and senior high school are now facing. Technical problems, of course, are the very first issue we will face. For classes with over 30 students, it is often difficult to have everyone well connected, not to mention those who live in rural areas. I've also heard from my colleagues, such as PE and art teachers, and I learned that they have difficulties with how to teach students doing such physical techniques merely through the screen. Some other challenges for me are how to make sure whether everyone attends the class. If we ask them to open the camera, this may lead to weak connection. But if everyone closes the camera, we cannot even know what they are doing. So there is a dilemma. Moreover, how to give tests is also another trouble. How we strike a balance between fairness and difficulty should be further discussed.
Oh yeah, sounds quite lots of dilemma there. And I saw that there's a comment from the netizen, especially for Zoe. They would like to ask, is there any issue, especially for the tutoring aspect? Because lots of our show fans are your students, and they are looking forward to listening to your true voice.
Yeah, sure. I totally agree with what Amy just mentioned. However, I think there is another big issue during the pandemic in the education industry. That is the salary. As you know, what the tutor does is teach students at their place every day. But because of the lockdown, we can only teach our students online. Thus, parents of my students will argue to decrease our payment.
Okay, actually, as a parent, I understand why some parents want to decrease the payment of tutors. The reason is that tutors don't have to go to their students' house, so they don't need to pay for transportation. Also, tutors teach their students online, so they don't even have to print out the teaching materials, which reduces the cost of teaching. As a result, in my opinion, maybe it's logical to decrease the payment of tutors.
Yep, I totally understand what you just mentioned. However, even though we don't need to go to our students' places, we still have to spend much time on learning online teaching skills. In addition, we have to make new online teaching plans as well as learning materials and turn the hard copies to soft copies to let them learn through the laptop or other technologies. Actually, we spend much more time than before. Thus, I think it's not fair to decrease our payment for online teaching courses.
Yeah, it sounds like in this pandemic issue, the Southern policy really brings so many troubles and lots of special things to our life, right? So now how about like this? After a break and have some music, come back after 15 minutes. More interesting and juicy ideas are waiting for you. See you later.